Joining us now with his take is Fox News contributor and National Review Institute senior fellow Douglas Murray. Douglas, good to see you. What do you make of these new demands? Again, as Dagan mentioned, not just making demands about pay raises and maybe health insurance, but all of these social demands that the teachers union are making and keeping kids out of school for a week.
You know, I come back to a point I made in my New York Post column a couple of weeks ago. If the teaching unions cared as much about proficiency in the basics as they do about whatever the latest woke issue is, maybe America's children would be in a better place than they are educationally. Oakland currently has in public schools, I think it is 21% math proficiency among students. 21%. They can manage to get about a fifth of pupils in the area proficient in math. Why are they even talking about anything else? And how dare they? How dare they, when they are failing at their most basic task, start talking about historical reparations for things that no one alive has suffered and no one alive has committed? How dare they talk about homeless shelters when they can't even educate students in math? That's what I can't understand.
They want reparations for black students when it's actually the very teachers' unions that have done the greatest racial injustice.
Are currently doing the greatest racial injustice.
By not teaching them.
No, I mean, the proficiency level for black students in Oakland and in California as a whole are even worse than the average. If these teachers and the unions cared at all about racial issues in America or improving the lot of young black Americans, they would not be talking these fantasies about reparations, which are never going to happen. They're never going to happen. I mean, let's just have that out there. It is not going to be the case that every black Californian is going to be given millions of dollars. And by the way, there's no reason why, I don't know, an Asian family in California should have to hike up their taxes and pay them in order to pay for that. That's not going to happen. But the one thing that could do a massive amount in this generation to improve the lot of young black Americans would be being well educated. And that's the one thing the unions are meant to do, the one thing the teachers are meant to do, and the one thing that they are completely failing at doing.
Maybe that Asian family is going to ask for reparations too, based on California's history. But I want to get your point on this too.
Why not all get in on it?
Just real quick, the NAACP in Oakland is telling the teachers there, get back to work. So good for them.
Good for them. All right. You recently spoke on a podcast in which you commented on the culture of victimhood in America and the impact it's having on our standing on the world stage. What did you mean, and does this have its root in Marxism?
Well, I was talking with H.R. McMaster and Neil Ferguson and others. We were talking about the sort of the big picture of America these days. And I said to McMaster, you know, in all of our lifetimes, everybody's lifetime, we have had a shift in the main ethic in America and the rest of the West. And it's a shift from the culture of heroism, where we were brought up to admire heroes, whether they were firemen or soldiers or generals or teachers, whoever it was. Somebody who did something heroic with their life we looked up to. And in all of our lifetimes, that has just changed completely. And now, what is the thing that everyone aspires to be but a victim? So that even the story you were talking about before, about mental health in New York and much more, if you want to get sympathy in modern America, just be a victim. If you want to get admiration in modern America, be a victim. People, even by being related to a victim, they can get elevated as well. It used to be that being in the proximity of somebody who was heroic was something you wanted to be. Now you want to be.
Markle is a victim, even. I mean,
Taylor Swift made an entire career out of it.
Everybody wants a piece of the victimhood pie, and I just think it's a totally undesirable way of life.
Permission to add one more thing. What irritates me even beyond that is that you have, like, women, again, already a victim, woe is me, but they will go out, writers, for example, people who write for the New York Times, and will say something incendiary and irretrievably stupid, and then when they get attacked online, oh, call the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I'm being attacked.
Yeah. That's one of the great maneuvers of the age that a certain type of woman has worked out, which is, I am woman, hear me roar, until there's any blowback, at which point it's poor me.
But it's,
you can choose one of those.
But that's the plan. But it's all planned because, again, victim.
You can't have them both. Douglas Murray, always great. Thank you for joining us.
Great pleasure.
We appreciate it.